Welcome, everyone. I'm excited. This is day one of a 7-day growth accelerate program. I'm glad you guys are here. I'm trying to do a live stream in a couple of places. First time I'm doing multi-streaming, so bear with me. But the main thing we need to get away from this is the content we've created for you, and I'm excited about it, and I think will make a big difference in where you are, where you need to be. And the intent of this is I've condensed everything I've learned in about 7 days or 15 years of information. So what I've done is I've simplified it for you, so you could use it to move your business forward, right? So that's really the intent of it. So let's get started. So again, welcome everyone. If you're online, say hello to me. And if you have any questions, use the Facebook Live, or if you're in the Zoom meeting, use the chat feature to communicate with me. So why are we here? So that's an important question, right? Everybody needs to understand why we're here and why do you have to listen to me? So where we are as a world, citizens of the world now, because it's not a problem isolated just with India, just with the United States. There's a lot going on right now. There are people who are losing their jobs. There are people who can't leave the house, people who are getting very sick from the pandemic and dying. So there's just a lot of things happening right now that is affecting everybody in the world. So there are two options to take now. We can all be upset about it and then just sit in a corner and wait for all this to go away and then move on with the life and hope our business survives. Potentially, it feels like it would be a 4 to 6 week break before we do anything back to normal. It could be longer, but I project at least another couple of months of a slowdown with what we can do. Maybe the stay-at-home options will be lifted, but for business to be usual, if you look at China as an example, it took them about 2 to 3 months before they opened back their factories and everybody work. So India and the US are on a little bit different trajectory, so it might take them a little bit longer before we all are good to go, right? So that's the situation right now. What it does also is present an opportunity. A lot of us are online watching movies. We don't even have sports anymore, so we're watching a lot of Netflix, TV. That's one option. Or we can use this time to develop ourselves, develop our skills, up-level our marketing strategy skills, and move our business forward. A lot of people are afraid of this time. They've stopped their ads. They're all like holding back right now. What I feel like, if you are in a business or you have an idea, you want to start a business, this is the best time to get in front of people. Like I said, everybody's home, consuming a lot of social media. So let's get in front of them, present them your ideas, let your audience get familiar with you and help them in this time of need, like I am doing with you, right? So if you do that, then you are establishing customers or an audience for the rest of your life. And that's one side. The data part of it is also very simple, is now cost per click has gone down tremendously because a lot of people are not advertising right now. So this is a great time for you to invest in your business, right? So there might be people who are afraid of it. There are others who are going to be using this opportunity. Again, I'm not minimizing how this pandemic is wrecking people's lives and it's causing a lot of agony for a lot of people. I'm not minimizing it, but if I wear my entrepreneur hat, I see an opportunity where you can move your business forward. So that's why we are here, is how do we move this forward? What is the framework we can use and how do we move this forward, right? So that's really why I'm here. So why should you listen to me? I've been doing this for 15 years now. I've learned a lot of what to do and what not to do, right? So if I could go back 15 years and talk to myself, what would I tell myself is what I'm going to tell you, because this will absolutely change the trajectory of your growth in the next year or 3 months or 6 months. So basically everything I've learned, if I can compress and say, hey, don't do these things, Raj, do these 3 things and you're going to be more successful, it will help you leapfrog and skip on a lot of years of pain to get where you are. So that's really my intent, is to let me give you the frameworks for you to learn. So again, the reality is you're hearing from a lot of people. Everybody's a guru today, and you're hearing from a lot of people who are giving you a lot of information. Say, go build a funnel, go write a book, go. All you have to do is learn high ticket sales. You know, the point is there's a lot of things that have been thrown at you, and you're drowning in this information just from everywhere. We'll create a micro video. So the point is, all those are good skills to have, but that is not a business. For you to develop a business, you need a better framework than just learning skills here and there and not actually making any progress in your business. So what we do, and I'm not preaching, I did the same thing. For years, I was learning a skill here. I was learning how to build funnels, how to write copy, how do I go do sales. What I did was I was learning a lot of these things, but I wasn't learning it very well, because even after 3 to 6 months of me learning it, I'm not going to be as good as a person who's been doing it for 2 to 3 years. So what I'm going to be good as identifying a problem that my customer has and solving the problem. And everything else kind of falls into place as we go through this 7-day course. I want to make sure you guys pay attention, execute on this action, and move forward. Instead of you saying, oh, I'm going to learn these 10 things, I want you to avoid drowning in this overwhelming information and have a very simple framework for you to move forward. Okay? So that's why you should be listening to me. And I'm going to be talking daily for about 45 minutes. I'm going to reserve a few minutes for questions from you guys at the end, but that's the intent for the next 6 days. So what is today's topic? So if you guys have any questions, put it on the chat. I'm going to do something here. Okay. So what is today's topic is find an idea and validate it. So that's your key takeaway from this. And that's what I want you to work on today before you come to the class tomorrow, okay? How do you find an idea and how do you validate? First, you have to solve a problem, and you have to find a niche you're solving a problem for, and then you have to validate if you're solving the problem, okay? Sorry, I keep looking to make sure there's not anybody answering questions. Okay, asking questions, sorry. So find an idea, find a niche, and validate. I'm going to break down this a little further, but I just want to have this 3-point framework on how to find and validate an idea, okay? So how do you find a problem? So first thing you need to do is just hypothesis. So you say, okay, these are my customers. For example, if I say, hey, my customers are entrepreneurs. So what are the problems they could be facing? They could be facing with the overwhelming information. They don't know what the next step is. They wish there was a simple roadmap or a blueprint somebody could give them so they could follow it. It's a mindset issue. They are trained from young age to say that, no, entrepreneurship is not good for you. You need to focus on getting an engineering degree and go get a job so you get a paycheck every month, right? And then there's no support structure from the family. I've heard of entrepreneurs who the girl's parents or the boy's parents said, no, we can't get you married to an entrepreneur because it's not a stable or a stable income. So there's a lot of things working against entrepreneurs, especially in India, right? So if these are all the problems, then you have to again, you'll validate later, but let's say you make a list of all these problems, okay? So let's say you're a coach and you're coaching other coaches, or you're a coach or a consultant who's helping other businesses with them services. You actually help them move forward. So you can look at, hey, they have no customers. They are struggling to get their message across to their customers. They are not sure exactly what problem they're solving. So These could be, so once you make a list of all these, then you identify what you think is a top problem. And then I'll show you how to validate it. But then let's just put it in a list, and then we're going to go through each problem, and then we're going to validate it. Okay. So because you have to absolutely find the most important problem where you say, okay, this is a problem, and you have a solution to the problem. They're like, yeah, you know what? Here's the money. Not that I'm saying you're doing it just as the money. What I'm saying is you've identified the problem, and you're so precise talking to your end customer about problem in their words that they're like, oh my God, this girl gets me. And I believe they can solve my problem, because a lot of them have trouble verbalizing the problem that they have. So if you can turn around, tell them, hey, is this the problem you have? And they'll be more than happy to talk to you and use your guidance to move forward. Okay. So now you looked at the problem, now the niche. This is, again, any business you can think of falls into one of these three niches. Okay. So for example, if you're a coach or a consultant, info business, most of the coaching is done to say, hey, how do you make more money, right? How do you move your business forward? How do you improve profitability? How do you grow your business? What I'm doing is in the wealth vertical, right? Or you could be in the health and beauty. So like, how do you lose weight in 30 days? How do you make sure your wake up every morning looking like $1 million, like where it could be a makeup product, it could be lipstick, it could be, so that's another. So these are the core three markets, regardless of how the economy is doing. These are the three markets that are always going to be there. They're indestructible. They've been here for hundreds of years, and they'll be here long after we're gone. So if you need to focus on, say, get your head straight on, okay, I'm in the wealth market, I'm in the health and beauty, or I'm in the relationship or love market, or where you're saying, okay, I'm like matrimonials.com, right? So that is in a relationship or love market. So make sure you understand exactly where you fit. Most of us, I think, will fit in the wealth market or in the health market. So I've run businesses like cryotherapy business or in the health market. And I've also imported granite from India to put on tombstones, which I would think is more along the relationship market. Right now, I'm in the consulting, coaching, speaking market, which I'm in the wealth market. So just this is more of a framework. I want to make sure you understand, you've identified the problem. Now you're going to understand exactly what niche you are in, right? So we're going to go further deeper in this, but I want to make sure you have this framework. So now that you have your niche, you have your problems. Now, how do you validate it? How do you go into and say, hey, customer, because, okay, this is where a lot of us make mistakes too. We think we know the problem and we already solve it by creating a product, and then we take it to the market and nobody wants it. And you're like, what? I know you have a problem. Why aren't you buying my product, my service? What you have failed to do, when I'm saying you, what I also have failed to do was validate the market, right? So that's what I want you to be very careful is, you are not your customer. So I'm going to repeat it again, because this took me years to get. So I want to make sure you guys get it sooner than me, right? You are not your customer. You're not selling to yourself. You might not be in your customer. So we'll talk about that tomorrow, a little bit more about identifying customers. So you have to absolutely understand. Sometimes you are like let's say I'm going to be teaching other entrepreneurs who were like me 20 years ago, right? But even then, they were 20 years ago, I was a completely different person with different aspirations and different goals in my life. So that's what I mean by, if you, very rarely are you selling to someone just like you. So get that in your mind. You are not your customer. The person who's paying for the service to solve a pain, they're your customer. So remember that, right? So if you don't remember that, what you'll do is, I get excited about this too, right? I see this brand new technology or a service and say, oh my God, this is awesome. People are going to love it. And then I do something with it and nobody wants to buy it. And you're wondering why? Why did this happen? So that's, instead of you going through those cycles and losing money, losing time and losing sleep, I want you to do this step right here. It's validate, validate, validate. So how can you validate? You don't have to spend any money to do this. You can do simple Survey Monkeys, there are free quiz software that are available. There's 30 days, 60 days. There's some of the really good software, bucket, there's WordPress templates that you could use. You send the surveys, these quizzes out in groups, Facebook groups you're part of, to customer lists if you already have a list, and ask the question, what is your problem? Not just that, but with a little bit more context if in a specific field. For example, I'm running a quiz right now. What I'm asking, what is the most important problem you're facing as a digital entrepreneur? Are you, do you suffer from lack of focus or clarity? Do you lack business experience? Uh, are you not successful because you don't have capital? Do you lack sales and marketing skills, right? So these are the 4 categories I'm looking at. So for your particular business, you'll have your own categories of identifying the problem, and you send those questions specifically catered to your audience. So you look at the response. So that's just one piece, right? So you've gotten responses from your target audience. That's the most important piece. Now you can do some validations, right? So you can go look at what your competition is doing. And if you say you don't have competition, I'm going to say, especially if you're in the info business, you absolutely have competition. If there's no competition, maybe there's no market, right? So those are some of the things that I think Frank Kern said it. He said, if there's no competition, you might not have a market. So if the competitors have not validated the market, don't be the first one to go in there and get arrows in your back. It was a little counterintuitive to me because you always were told, hey, go find a new place, a brand new blue ocean and go nuts, right? But what he's saying is not saying you should go where there's a lot of strong competitors and die in that space, right? What he's saying is identify that this particular niche, like it's a wealth niche, and within that you say, oh, digital marketers in India, oh, that's very popular. But then find a niche that is just you, and then you go. And so just from a validation of the starting phase and the next levels, make sure there's competition in the space that has been proved out that there is a need or demand for it, right? Again, that's an info market. If you have a brand new product, R&D, something very unique, this doesn't hold good. But if you step away, still holds that there's a wealth market, a relationship love market, and a health market. You are going to fall into one of those 3 categories. So you can kind of keep validating until you get to a point saying, you know what, this is what my competitors doing. This is how I'm going to be different than them, right? And this is what's unique about me. These are the problems they're not solving, but I'm going to solve it with my product or my service. And that now you're starting to form a baseline of exactly what you're going to communicate with your customers, because you've understood the market and you've understood where exactly you stand in the market, right? So this is a very, very important step. And a lot of us gloss over it because we're so eager to present your service or product to your customer that you skip this whole step, right? So my request is to make sure don't make the same mistakes I made and learn the hard way is validate, okay? So there's some other free tools like Google Keyword Planner. If you just go into Google and you type in um, how to gain customers in digital marketing, whatever that is, as soon as you start typing, it auto-fills some words for you. So you can see the trends of what are people searching for. So you go to Google Keywords Planner or YouTube Keywords Planner, or there's just a lot of keyword planners out there. And you search for the most trending topics. And so right now, I'm pretty sure if you search COVID-19 will be the top end of it. But then if you look for digital marketers in India will be the, I won't say next, but one of the top searches, right? So what that does is give you a lot of validation on exactly what is the market looking for. So when you do all this, right, again, take some time to do this, please, because if you don't do this, you are going to go through a process of, oh, I think this is what the market wants. I'm going to go there. Oh man, this is not what they want. Nobody's buying. Let me try this. So you will do a lot of trial and error before you identify what the market wants. So not saying you might not hit it the first thing, but the probability is very low. But if you go through the process of validation with your service, with your customers, with trending what's in Google, and finding out what keywords people are searching for, what your competition is doing, how are they different, how are you going to be in a unique place to solve it. If you do that, then you're in a much better place to validate what they want. So So now just going back to the three things is you're going to identify a customer. I'm just going to go back so we can. So you're going to solve a problem. So you have a list of problems you've already identified. Then you're going to find a niche: health, wealth, beauty, and then you're going to go to the next level of details, whether it's oh, I'm in wealth, I'm in coaching, consulting. Uh, I'm consulting for particularly local businesses that have a presence, or I'm consulting for an online business or an info business, or I'm coaching other coaches. That's how you go down your niche. You start at wealth, you go down to one more level, go, and then you find exactly where you are. Now you found your niche. Now you're going to go through the process we just talked about, and you're going to validate it. Once you do these three steps, you've now fast forward your business growth tremendously, because now you know exactly what to write in your emails, what to say in your videos, what to put in your sales letter. All of these things becomes very clear because you know they have a problem and you validated it. Now you're going to talk about this problem in words that they can't even express to you, but this is a problem, right? So that's exactly what you're going to be doing as we move forward for the remaining classes. But I'm gonna go through an exercise which I found incredibly helpful for me, and I want to make sure you guys follow with me. But just to wrap up our previous thought processes, find what find what the customers want, and then give it to them. That's how you run a business. I know it's very simple, but it will make sense once you go through the process. Find out what the customers want and give it to them. Don't assume, well, you know what they want. Find out what they want and then give it to them. So I'm gonna do a quick check. Everybody's good. Okay, perfect. Okay, a lot of us go into this exercise of identifying problem, right? So I want to make sure I show this to you because I'm just going to take these three. I think most of my students or people online are in one of these three businesses. They are either coaching, consulting, or doing something in the wealth or info business, or they're a local business, right? They're helping a local business. So you can use this if you're a consultant helping a local business. You can use this strategy we're going to talk about. So most of it, I start directly with the, hey, there's no leads either for my business. I don't have any leads. I need to get leads, right? Again, this is where I started. So what you do is you start jumping into, there's no leads. It's where I'm starting. My ending point is now I need to get leads. So if that is your focus, what you're going to focus on is, oh, let me go build some funnels. I'm going to build a website. I'm going to do videos. I'm going to do Facebook ads, YouTube ads, Google ads, because I have no leads and I want to get to leads. Sounds reasonable, right? But what I want you to do is take a step back. Whether it's for your own business or for your company you're considering, is that's not the whole picture. So I go through a process. Again, it's called From Crossing the Chasm. Frank Kern has something like that. Almost everybody has a version of this, right? So you have to absolutely identify, where is your customer's pain point? Where are they in agony? They're suffering from something, and then you want to take them to a place at the end of it, which is where what I call nirvana, where they really are happy and satisfied with the goals, right? So right now, almost every one of us, as soon as we say, I'm gonna start a business, especially a lot of info business, again, this is just an example, right? Info business people say, oh, they have no leads. I can get them leads. Let's go get them a funnel. Let's build a funnel. Now they've got leads. Now what, right? Is that really the problem? Is that they don't have leads, or is the problem they don't have a business how to take these leads and then convert, right? So let me go to the next step so you understand. So this sad phase right here is where they are right now, and where they want to be is the happy phase or nirvana stage. That's where they want to be, right? So let's look at not the little micro problem area. Let's look at the end-to-end issue. Where did they want to start, and where are they right now, and where do they want to be? Okay, so right now they have no customers, they want leads. Okay, and that's what everybody's honed in on. What I want you to do is take a step back and look at where they are. They're in agony right now. They don't know what's going on with their business. Well, I'm not having it right now just because of the situation. I'm talking about any given time you talk to a business owner or your own business, you might be in a point where you're saying, yes, I do want leads. Eventually, I want to be in a profitable and in an advanced state. But before that, nobody knows me. How do I establish myself as an authority? I'm gonna take a sip of water, guys. Okay, nobody knows who I am. Why would they even listen to me? So there's a step even before that, right? Again, this is just an example. I'm going to go through a few examples. This is one of the examples. So I have to first establish an authority. And how do we do this? And how do we productize this? All this we'll talk about later. Hold on. Okay. So that's the first step. So you are here as a business owner, not making a lot of money or not being very profitable or making very little money, but just because you haven't established yourself as the go-to authority, right? And this is a coaching consultant. Then you have no customers. Then you develop leads. So what happens now that you have leads? I ran into this issue too. Now you have leads. What do you do with the leads? Now you have to do sales. So just because you have lead doesn't mean you're going to get a lot of money. So the leads now have to become customers. So now you go through a sales process, a nurturing process, and a closing process. So all these things are required. And what do you do? So I made a one-time sales. Okay, I got 100 people to sign up on my funnel or come to my event, whatever the right way for you to collect these leads. And then I had to email them, call them, email them, call them. There's a whole sequence you have to go through because not everybody buys the first time they see you. It takes 7, sometimes 12 touches before they see you. So email them, call them, text them, not on a daily basis, right? But there has to be some logic. You have to give some value to your leads before they become customers. So there's a whole sequence that goes behind it. Okay, now you've done sales. Okay, you spent a lot of money getting these leads. Now you're converting, let's say 10 to 15%, maybe 5% when you start out. Do you want to go through this whole process again, or the people who've already bought from you, can you make them recurring? So that's another step. So if you don't have all of this in order, you're not going to have a very successful business. If you are highly dependent on the front end of it, where I'm going to spend a lot of money getting customers, and then I don't know how to nurture them, I don't know how to convert them, I don't know how to make it recurring. Now I'm going to assume you're going to be still in this state of unhappiness. So unless you get this whole thing going correctly, you're not going to get to a state where you're saying, most of us didn't quit a job or want to start a business because we want to work 80 hours or 100 hours. You want to do it for more reasons than just the money. You want to spend more time with your family. You want to make your family proud of you. You want your spouse to be proud of you. There's more underlying reasons that you're doing, or you want to leave a legacy behind. When you dig deep enough, you will realize you're not doing it for the money. Yes, without money, we're not going to be able to survive. I get it. But there's more underlying. If you keep asking yourself, why are you doing this? You understand this. Are you doing for your kids? You want to make sure they have a secure future, or you want to leave the world in a better place than you came in, right? So there are more reasons for this. So what I'm going with is this, right? A lot of us just focus on the middle part. Hey, they have no customers. Let's do leads. Let's do funnels. Great, but what you don't understand is that is not a business. That is one step of the business. So that's what I want you to understand. Even your customers might not be able to voice this or clearly explain this to you, that really what I need help is I'm here in this state and I want to get to nirvana where I'm happy. I'm doing, maybe my goals are I only want to work 25 hours a week. I want to spend a lot more time with my family. Or you could be, I want to work 80 hours a week, but I want to have 3x the growth for my business. Whatever that goal is that for you, that's what that state is, right? So there are multiple steps that take you from where you are to where you need to be. And that'll be the same for your customers too. So you have to visualize it for your customers. Say, hey, I understand you want leads, But how are you doing with if it's a coach you're working with, how are you, do people know who you are? Do you have a well-established list? How do you do this? So that's a different conversation, right? Then, okay, now that if I give you 1,000 leads, how much sales are you going to make? They'll be like, oh, I can convert at 5%. No, you should be converting at close to 15, 20, 30%, depending on your sales team. They're like, oh, really? So there's an opportunity they didn't even see. So you have to absolutely look at it from where they are to where they need to be, right? And then finally say, okay, making sales, how much of is recurring revenue? They're like, oh, I don't. First of all, they might not even know. So there's some data component to it too. So that's what I want you to look at. Is I'm going to look at a couple more examples, but I want this to sink in because this is like the baseline for a lot of other things we're going to be doing. So understand and go both sides of the problem solving to understand where they're starting, where they need to end up, okay? I'm gonna go to the next one. Local business, again, there's a sad face and a happy face. So they are, when I say local business, they could be a restaurant, a gym, a massage studio, a lot of them, or a product company. Let's say they do sell, I know, trying to get an interview with somebody who sells cakes from a local business store in Chennai. And where they want to be, they want to be able to sell online, especially in situations like right now when nobody wants to go anywhere and Uber Eats, and there's a lot of other options for people to just order stuff online and then bring it to them, right? So how do you take advantage of this? If you're a local business and you want to be able to sell online, you can say, get a website. Is that really it? So let's talk to this. So they have no online sales, which is their agony state, and their nirvana state is where they can sell stuff online. Okay. Let's walk through what are the things they potentially could need. I'm not, again, there could be 20 things just for our conversation today. I've identified 4 or 5 things that'd be helpful for them to move along, right? So first, yes, set up a website. Does that automatically translate to sales? No. So what is the next one? Now you have to be able to accept payments online, right? So that is his own animal, to be able to set a payment gateway. And then now you have to get marketing pages. So what kind of message do you want to deliver? So you can say, hey, you can't come to my classes. I understand if this is for a gym, sorry. So I understand you're busy. Maybe you want to work from home. We have online classes. So that you understand the problem in the gym area. So if you're a local product selling, you say, okay, you want to shop from the convenience from your home. Yes, let's make it easy for you. And this is the benefits of our product, right? So those, because now that you understand the customer pain point, your marketing pages should reflect that. Now you've got it all set up. So that's like the background work. What do you do now? Now you have to drive traffic to it. So how do you get traffic? Is it Facebook ads? Is it YouTube? Is it Google ads? All that needs to be figured out. Is it Facebook videos, live videos, YouTube videos? Is it advertisement paper? Is it postcards we send to a particular community? There's tons of way to do traffic. We'll again cover that in another time, but just want you to understand. And then there's analytics. So now that I've everything I talked about, right? Okay, I'm going to spend $100 on 100 rupees on Facebook ads. What am I going to get? Am I getting one customer for 100 rupees? If I do Google ads, I'm getting one customer for 50 rupees I spend, and YouTube is giving me for 25. Instagram marketing is working cheaper. So if you don't know that, how are you going to run your business? Data is the most essential thing I can think of for you to be successful and growth hack your business, right? So unless you do the analytics on your website, how many people are coming to your website, how many are buying, how many just run away, leaving an abandoned cart. Again, that's a whole nother conversation. But now, if you do all that and you do it right, then they go from no online sales to online sales. And these are all the steps that need to happen. So, but when you go talk to customers, all they might say, hey, I need to set up a website, right? Well, the real question is, no, I need to go from no online sales to online sales. What do I need to do? Unless you explain it to them, customer won't get it, because they're going to set up a website and then, oh man, nobody's buying. So all I'm saying is that's where you bring your authority. So I want to take a little step back saying, right now your knowledge, and even Tony Robbins, Dean, they're all working on a knowledge broker product. So everybody has some knowledge that you've gathered over the course of your life. And I'm actually going to be interviewing some folks here who are early entrepreneurs. They a little bit, one of the objection they had was, hey, I've not made it big. I'm not a multimillionaire already. So why would you want to even talk to me, right? So you have to understand, let's say you've been an entrepreneur for a couple of years now. You're 2 years ahead of the curve for somebody who's just starting out. So imagine you talking to yourself 2 years ago. So you're an entrepreneur, you stuck with your business for 2 years, 5 years, 7 years. You're making a little bit of money, but not enough. But if at the end, wherever you are, you turn around and you talk to yourself day one, imagine the wealth of knowledge you have right now that you can give that person, right? You can tell them, hey, don't do this. I did this, it didn't work, just like I'm doing to you, telling you guys right now, things to avoid. If you can talk to yourself 2 years ago, so that is the knowledge you have. And there are absolutely people who are in day one of the journey who are willing to pay you for the knowledge, right? So remember that. So even if you run a local business, you have a knowledge of running this local business for 5 years. Imagine another person who's just thinking about starting it. Would they pay you for the knowledge to teach them how to do it? So that's how I want you to start thinking through this. A lot of you might think, oh no, I'm just a student. Let's say you're a student now in college. They took a journey to get there, right? Whether in engineering college, whatever you want, there is another person 2 to 3 years behind you who's in day one of the journey. What could they learn from you, right? So just think about it. And that's one of the things. So going back to our example, now local, we've got that. So let's go to the next one. Now you're the info business, what I just talked about. So there's no sales in the info business or low sales profit, and the nirvana state is for them to be profitable. So info business people who are selling information product, for example, they could be coaching videos they've already made, or they could be training videos they've already made. It could be weight loss program. It could be a lot of informational products that you're selling online, okay? So there's ways to get this product in front of people. So again, you have to get authority, but again, I know things we talked about, but I'm gonna try to look at only a few key things that I didn't cover in the previous examples for info business. So, okay, now you need to do a webinar. Next, let's get a funnel, a landing page, some for this to make sure we can start collecting leads. And then traffic. What kind of traffic? Facebook, Google, YouTube, Instagram. We need to figure out exactly what traffic works for your customer in your industry. And then of course, sales. Without sales, you don't have a business. And then automation. So this is very key. I know we didn't talk about in previous examples, but automation is key, because if you have to repeat everything every time, you basically trading in time for money, right? That's really just you having a job. So how do you go from that to running a business, automating? Can you automate your funnels? Can you automate the traffic that generates, some of the sales, the email copy? Can you make that all so that somebody signs up on a webinar? Can they be directed to an email sequence of 5 emails and then a text sequence that sends them 3 texts? From there, they are, that's your sales process. Now they get into buy a low ticket item, then now they're in the ecosystem, they can be upgraded to a higher ticket item. All this process could be automated. And until you do all that, you really don't have a thriving business that's profitable with growth. We're not talking about running a business. Again, if it's a lifestyle business, you just want to do it because you don't want to have a job. You want to set your own schedule. You want to build a legacy. That's great. But if you are interested in 3x, 4x, 10x to your growth, without automation, it's going to be almost impossible to get that, right? So when you talk to somebody who's in the info business and they talk about funnel, that's a very small portion. And I hope you guys can see my mouse, but basically there's a very small portion. Let me see. Okay. If that's all they're talking about, That's a very small portion of the entire park, right? So if they create a funnel without being able to send traffic to it, there's no point of creating a funnel, right? Without traffic, that's just a funnel. And then once you create traffic, then you're going to get sales. And without sales, there's no money coming in. And without you're not going to be able to scale. So that's what I want you to think through is if somebody's asking you for just one problem, validate if there's other problems to be filled, and then you get a full picture, and then we can talk about what next steps are.